Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leading Ladies. We're going to have a conversation between me, Lucinda Lilly, my associate, Melissa DeMarco, and my very good friend, Stacy Wells today. We like to interview women who are leading in their professions and in their lives. Stacy, we're so excited to have you with us today.
I'm so excited to be with you guys and not only to be part of this, but to see my friends is amazing. So thank you for having me.
Let me tell you a little bit about Stacy. She has over 25 years of experience in the property management industry, where she has held almost every on-site and corporate position. Her most recent assignment is as the Vice President of Strategic Operations for Fairfield Residential. In addition to this role, Stacy is a lecturer for the Fowler College of Business at San Diego State University, where she teaches principles of property management. She was the president of the Southern California Rental Housing Association in 2014 and a board member for over 10 years. As an industry leader, she has been recognized for her support and dedication. Today, Stacy continues to share her knowledge and passion of the property management industry through her volunteer work and as a designated instructor in the industry.
In our first episode, we referenced a leadership style quiz developed by the University of Southern California. Stacy, we had you take that quiz, and I'm curious, what style are you?
That was such a fun quiz to take, and I got meta modern.
Interesting. So meta modern leaders are imaginative, forward thinking, and emotionally intelligent. They like open-minded work cultures and spontaneity, yet still exercising pragmatic thought. Does this sound like you, Stacy? And how has this style developed over your career?
It absolutely does sound like me, and that was one of the things I loved about this quiz because I really felt like it was spot on. So I think if I'd taken the quiz 20 years ago, I probably would have had a different answer. But today, I'm definitely a firm believer in the meta modern style. And that's really because I'm a firm believer in making sure that you empower every single person on your team. I'm a firm believer in there's no I in the word team. And I think that people really want to work for someone and work with someone who takes ownership in their role, but also really gives people the ability to do their job. So people really want to know too that a lot about their leader and their coworkers. And so I really also believe that sharing my knowledge, sharing my failures, is definitely something I like to do with my team members and my coworkers. And one of the quotes that I'm really famous for saying to all of my coworkers and teams is that the best way to avoid failure is to fail. And there's really not anything I can't fix except for kind of fire, flood, or blood, right? And so in this industry, and I'd really rather make sure that people make a decision, even if it's the wrong decision, than to not make a decision at all. In my opinion, that's one of the worst things that someone can do. And so I really think that making sure that you're teaching valuable lessons to people and empowering them to make wrong decisions sometimes is a really good thing.
Stacy, one of my favorite books is a John C. Maxwell book called Failing Forward. And in it, he says, fail often and fail big.
Yep.
So that you can learn. And I think I'm glad you called that out. Thank you. Appreciate that. So what, in your opinion, is one mistake you witness leaders making more frequently than others?
I've thought a lot about that question, not just in preparation for today, but just in my life in general. And I think that really one of the biggest mistakes that leaders make is the fact that they want to control everything and do everything themselves. I'm the exact opposite. Of course, I pull my weight and I do my part and I make sure that I'm part of the team, always part of the team. But I also want to really make sure that I am, co-training, cross-training, and making sure that everybody that's on the team knows how to do and be part of the process. when you have a leader who just does it themselves because they either don't want to take the time to cross train or they think that they're saving time, it's just faster if I do it myself. How many times have we heard leaders say that? You're really doing a disservice to your team. And so making sure that you're giving people the ability to be part of the process, I just think is really, really critical.
So, Stacy, I'm curious to know what advice you would give someone going into a leadership position for the first time.
So I think my advice to somebody is just, it's okay to be afraid, right? I mean, I remember going into my very first leadership role thinking, am I qualified? Did they pick the right person? Do I even know what I'm doing? I question myself some days. I'm like, wow, do I really have the qualifications that I have? But the reality is we've all gotten to our places in our personal lives and our professional lives because of our hard work and our dedication, and everybody deserves to be there. And it's okay when you get into that new leadership role to be vulnerable. I think it's okay to know that you're going to feel intimidated sometimes. I think it's okay to talk about how, you want to be part of the team. I also think it's really, really important that when you step into a new leadership role, you don't go in there with the intent of changing everything and making it your way. In my opinion, real leaders work to the style of their team members. So I don't have an expectation that my team needs to change what they're doing to fit me. I need to fit for each one of them. And so I always make sure that I sit down with the team, find out what's working, what's not working, what ideas do they have to make things better, instead of me just coming in and saying, here's what we're going to do. You really need to include everybody in the process. And then I think the last thing is just make sure you surround yourself with good people. And a lot of times when we have open positions, what do? We just rush to fill those positions, and maybe we don't get the most qualified candidate. And again, I think it's better to take the time to find the perfect person for the role instead of just rushing, because having good people around you is the secret to everybody's success.
It's funny, all of those points that you just made could be entirely separate interviews, standalone. I so want to get into this with you, but we're on limited time. We'll schedule more time later. One more question, if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of discussion and different opinion about how transparent a leader should be. Mm-hmm. Is it okay for a team to know what a leader is going through personally and challenges that he or she may be having?
In my opinion, I think it's critical. I've always been extremely transparent. Probably I've been accused of being sharing too much with my team members about my personal life and my professional life. But I also think that getting to know people for who they are as a human being, not just how they are at work, is important. And having people feel comfortable talking to you, having people feel comfortable coming to you with any concerns or problems they have to have trust in you to do that. And I don't think anybody is going to have trust if they don't know anything about you and you're very cold and one-sided. So for me as a leader, I like to share. I like to share my failures. I like to share my successes. I like to share with people what's going on in my life, because our coworkers are also sometimes who we spend most of our daylight hours with. And so why wouldn't you want to be able to share in failures and successes with people that you work with every day?
I love that. So we have decided to end each episode with our guest's favorite quote on leadership. So take it away.
So for people who know me, again, I'm sharing, but I have a purse and shoe fetish in my life. And so of course, my favorite quote is going to be a Coco Chanel quote, but My quote in my personal and professional life is just, in order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different.
I love that. That is so you. You're absolutely right. Stacy, I haven't gotten to see you enough over the past year. I've missed you. It is so much fun to catch up in this particular element. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. And everybody out there, check back soon for another episode of Leading Ladies. Thanks, Stace.
Thanks, you guys. Take care.